again. Miami
You're
Grand Prix
back.
weekend.
Fun weekend
Fun
this
one.
weekend. Wish I was there.
I'm not sure if I do wish I was there because it poured the entire time. But
It for the entire time, but what a fun time.
made
It
for
seemed
some
like such a
fun
good time.
racing. It was a
I
chaotic weekend,
know.
which I
It
just
was very,
realized we
I
put
loved
in,
it. I was not expecting it, but it was.
which I'm totally realizing now. We did our notes for what we're going to talk about this, and we completely forgot to talk about the sprint week or the sprint race.
Okay.
However, I
I
don't
was
think we really
literally just changing
need
my mind.
I don't think we really need to put the notes in for that because I think I can talk about that a lot because that was a fun one.
It
So
was very fun. It was honestly, it was kind of short and sweet. I loved it. I loved it. It was
finding
crazy.
finding the recap just so I have it in front of me. But um yeah, it was definitely a weekend that put a lot of people on notice. It also led to some news that we'll get into later because it seems like Alpine is once again crashing and burning like they do every year. So I had high hopes for them. I added them to my fantasy team. That might have to change, but we'll talk about that later
Yeah.
and we'll see. I say we get right into it. Um, with the sprint race because that was a fun one for sure. Um,
Fun. It was cute. It was fun. It was
it was a little
exciting.
scary at the beginning when they started it under safety car. Or more so they didn't start it at all. They did a couple laps
Yeah,
under safety car. Um,
they did.
which makes for an interesting one when it's only 18 laps anyway, and two of them are already done before the race has even started. However,
Europe.
16 laps later, it still led to a lot of chaos. Lando, as he seems to do in Miami a lot, lucks out with the safety car, gets the win.
Beautiful.
And
I
you see
loved it.
Jimmy's wearing
I
the
wish to
McLaren
wear that on a
sweatshirt to
Sunday.
the McLaren sweatshirt to rep it a little bit. But yeah, a lot of chaos. Oscar, of course, was in the lead for a good majority of the race. Kimmy
Yeah, he
on
was.
pole in
She came me
typical,
home full. I'm sorry. That was insane.
which in very rookie fashion, which we're not surprised about, he got way over aggressive at the beginning and fell back 6 spots or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
but like I'll still give the kid some credit. That was I don't know
You
what
have
he was
to.
on this weekend. Even I feel like even on Sunday he performed
I mean, the
amazing.
qualifying on Saturday after the sprint, he outqualified Oscar.
Dude, it was crazy. I don't know what he was on.
And
He
he's
was
matching the times of Max and Lando up in front of him. Like that's crazy.
it was insane.
Which he got very unlucky. He didn't even get points in the sprint race, which is really unfortunate because uh,
Yeah.
a little sketchiness from Max, which we will discuss. But um, like you mentioned, Oscar gets off to a pretty good start, gets Kimmy off the line. Kimmy falls back after Oscar. Fair but good racing, right? Stays in front,
Yeah.
held the lead for a while, and everyone started to pit because of the changing conditions. We got slicks, which led to Oscar pitting before Lando, which is a decision, but also you can't really control it. And the lap after, we see Fernando Alonso in the wall. Lando lucks out, gets a safety car. I don't know if that was Fernando at the time. No, it was, but um,
I think it was.
it was Lando benefits, gets the pit under safety car, gets out in front of Oscar, doesn't look back. The race would then finish under safety car because of all the crashes, and Lando would luck out again and win. However, not before a lot of controversy because Max, who I believe finished fourth under safety car, had a big penalty that he can't even argue, right? It wasn't necessarily his fault. It was definitely on the team. But
I'm not
when a
gonna lie,
race
that was so
It was
funny.
awesome. But when a race finishes under safety car and you have a 10-second penalty, you're gonna finish last. So that's
That was
exactly
funny.
what happened to Max.
That was funny. I'm sorry, but that was so funny seeing him just go boop
Boop.
all the way to the bottom.
Um, but yeah, Max, after he finished his pit, was released early, and the dictionary definition of an unsafe release, he didn't even argue it. He was just more so mad at the team for doing
Yeah,
it,
it was horrible.
caused
It was just yeah.
which even added to the unlucky weekend for Kimmy because he couldn't pit when that happened because he had to
Oh,
avoid crashing into Max, which meant he went through the pit box for no reason to then pit again the next lap and fall out of
the
the pit.
next
So
literally, yeah,
very unlucky for Kimmy.
very
But
unlucky. But
it saw Max get a penalty. Um,
Which I'm sorry, but that was shocking. I feel like that was a long time coming compared to some of the calls we've had. So,
it was the first time that it was as blatant that it wasn't really like up for debate, and it finally caught Max
yeah.
a little bit, which is nice. But um, a couple other penalties, I believe. Lawson and who else?
Uh,
No, Albon, Lawson, and Behrman all dropped out of the points with penalties. So a lot. It was
which
a
was
busy sprint. So
how
it
many
went.
was it Gas? Was Gas did Gasly get one too?
No, Gasly moved up actually. So Albon,
Somebody
Lawson,
else.
and Behrman all got the penalties along with Max. So those are four that dropped down.
Gotcha.
Which promoted George to fourth. Who got third? I don't actually. Oh, Lewis got third.
Hamilton. Hamilton
Lewis
got
got
third
third.
in the sprint. Yep.
Um, Russell got fourth. Stroll got fifth, which is
I didn't even realize Stroll got
crazy.
fifth.
It helps when four of you guys in front of you all got penalties, but
True.
Stroll got fifth. Yuki, Kimi, and Gasly moved up to sixth, seventh, and eighth. So Kimi did get points. I forgot about that. Um, however,
Initially he was
Kenny,
out, but yeah.
he was initially out. He got seventh, so he got 2 points after that. Which as a rookie, you take anything, right? So eventful sprint weekend. Um, but that led us to the actual main race with, in typical Max fashion, putting together a lap in qualifying that just scorched everyone again. Not like he scorched everyone, but he somehow is getting the most out of that car every single time, and he goes
I
pole
have
again.
no idea how he does that ever.
He,
Because I feel like if I recall correctly, I think he was complaining this Sunday about the car being absolutely horrible.
I mean, he's always complaining. He said the brakes were giving him issues.
Was it the
A lot
brakes?
of different cars were giving issues though because of the rain. So
Yeah, I guess
more
that's
so
fair.
than normal. Like Lewis, as we'll talk about later, was having a bad day for
Not
sure.
happy.
Um, but I think Max, when he doesn't have the pressure of defending against anyone, and he also doesn't have to save his tires or do anything, and can just push like crazy, he's better than anyone because he can
Yeah.
outline anyone. He doesn't care nearly as much. Like he just goes for it. Um, and he also had his kid. That's a little bonus, right? So congrats, Max. You had a kid. Um,
Congratulations, Max. Baby
your
girl, right?
baby girl, yeah. Um, you screwed my predictions though, so thanks for that. But we'll be fine with that. But he ended up on pole, Lando in second, Kimi in third, and Oscar in fourth. Leads to the race where old Lando comes back, has the lead for a split second off the start on Max, but Max does the exact same thing Oscar did to Kimi. Lando ends up off the track, loses 4 spots right away, and essentially ruins any chance he has of winning because Oscar's already ahead of him. So,
That was brutal to watch, I'm not gonna lie.
which I like, me being the biased McLaren fan I am, I texted you saying that Max should have gotten a penalty. I looked at it again.
It was definitely not a penalty,
Definitely
but
didn't need to get a penalty.
so brutal to watch. I felt
Yeah,
like we were literally back to last season where we finally had some competition and then Lando blows every single sort.
yeah. Which like it's nice to see that the competition is still there because Oscar is always going to be a factor now, which is cool. Um,
Yeah.
However, there was more turn one chaos because Doohan and Lawson made contact immediately, which unfortunately for Jack Doohan because it was his fault, but it's a racing incident, right? It's like you're getting squeezed so much that you can only do so much.
There's literally only so much you can do.
He has to retire on lap one. He doesn't even make it around the full lap to go back to the pits. Retires on lap one. Lawson keeps going, but eventually would retire with damage to the side pod, I believe, from that crash.
Yeah.
So not great for two of the more scrutinized drivers on the grid right now.
I was gonna say all I'm gonna say is Lawson's starting to take me off, but
I said
whatever.
that to you as well, but I also looked at that as like he went for a gap that was there, and then there's just everyone squeezes him. You can't really do anything about it, but
Yeah, but I feel like it's like every race now.
it
Like
definitely is. And he spun Alonso in the
he's
sprint.
giving me Checo vibes. It's giving Checo.
He also spun Alonso in the sprint, which was absolutely his fault. But um,
That's dude, like I don't know. Maybe it's like a spatial awareness thing. I don't know. But what can I say? I'm not a race car driver.
yeah, but that wasn't great for them. But that's when the chaos started a little bit. Max in first off the start. Oscar pretty quickly makes up spots on Kimmy. Kimmy did get up to second, but for only so long when you have a rocket ship behind you. Uh,
Yeah.
Oscar gets past, and then the battle with him and Max lasts a couple laps. In this process, Lando gets past Russell and Kimmy to then make it a battle for first and second with Lando coming up quickly. Oscar makes the pass on Max fairly fast. Lando does not. Lando made it quick, like it was fine, but he took quite longer than Oscar did. And by the time that Lando finally got past
Yeah,
Max,
Oscar was like 5 light years away.
yeah, Oscar was 8.5 seconds away. So Lando made up a lot of it, but not enough.
You know, I'll have to give Norris some credit because if you actually go back in and look at his like maneuver on Max, I would say he did that pretty well, pretty safely because I feel like that could have ended very badly had he had been more aggressive, but I think he kind of played Max's play card there a little bit. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and he also made the smart decision because he did pass Max a lap earlier off the track, would have probably gotten a penalty for it. Gave the place back, took it back very fast. And I think that shows Lando's maturing a little bit because last year he did that a couple times, a few times, um, and didn't do that and would kind of, you know,
For
spew on the
himself.
radio a little bit and try to get rid of it. But now I think he realized that. I heard on the commentary that he did it himself. Like the team didn't even ask him to do it. He did it himself, and then just to be safe.
I think it's great. Like I said, I think he's starting to we're getting both sides coming together. Hopefully we can
Exactly.
just
So just put it all
hopefully
together for one race, Lando. That's all I ask. But like it's
one
interesting
race.
because if he doesn't let him back, maybe he catches Oscar, right? However, you then have a 5 second penalty to deal with, which means Oscar's gonna go ahead of you anyway. There's no reason not to. So
No, I
makes
agree.
sense. It ends up being an Oscar one, Lando two. That's how it would finish at the end. Nothing really happened after that. Max would fall behind George because there was another safety car.
Uh,
Not a full safety car. There was a couple of VSCs, which I'm not a fan of the VSC. I get it, like it keeps the race as it is and it's there, but it just doesn't really do anything.
it doesn't make any sense, and I feel like half the time they throw them out just to throw them out, personally, but whatever.
Like Ollie retired with an engine failure. I believe they threw one for that.
Yeah.
Which I think Lando made up a little bit of time because of that, and they double stacked and it worked. In that process, Yuki then got busted for speeding in the pit lane, so that was another penalty for him. But um,
That
what
was funny. I'm sorry, that was funny.
didn't end up mattering. He still got 10th. But on top of that, Bortoleto then retires with an issue after he also has some engine issue.
I think he had an engine. Yeah, I want to say he had an engine issue too.
But what I would think is the most entertaining part of this race was the Ferrari madness that we have
What?
gotten back with again.
Dude, I had such high hopes for them. I feel like what was this, an episode or two ago? We were talking about like they're back, like we got this.
They're not back. That is for sure. They ended up finishing seventh and eighth. And I don't know if I've ever heard Lewis be more angry on a team radio.
I'm so upset. The amount of memes that I have seen on like Instagram about like how mad Lewis has been is crazy.
Which is even funny because half of the
Crazy.
memes aren't even memes. Like he actually said this stuff.
Like
Like
he literally said that. Didn't he say something about the Lego cars?
I don't know if he said that was real, but I did see that.
You saw, what I'm talking about,
I
right?
saw what you were talking about. But the big one that I saw, like Lewis obviously let Charles pass in China, I believe, right? So he mentions that on the radio, and Ferrari doesn't get back to him quick enough to make that same switch. They finally do make the switch, but at that point, Lewis has destroyed his tires because he's trailing Charles the entire way. So he
Literally.
can't do anything when he does make that switch, right? So he's ahead. He gets a little bit ahead of Charles, but not enough. Charles then asks for them to be switched back again, which Ferrari regrets. That is where Lewis loses his mind because they did that one a lot quicker.
It, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, like the only thing I could see is them taking precedent on Charles because I mean he's been there longer, but like I feel like that doesn't really give any
when you have a seven-time world champion, I feel like he should take a little precedent,
That's kind of what I'm saying. And
or at
even
least
looking
let him race.
like you're not even doing well enough at this current time to like be messing around to be making like political choices like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to get your car in check first
Which it
before you
almost hurt them
start
even more
all about it.
because Sainz ends up being a second and a half off of Lewis at the end, or at one point, which
Yeah,
ended up being a lot
gosh.
less at the end. He was under half a second behind at the end of the race. Um, which led to my favorite radio of the race when they told Lewis that Sainz was a second and a half behind, and Lewis's response was, "Should I let him through too?" As in, give him the spot like they did to Charles because he was fuming. And it's
I mean, I
coming out
would
today that
too.
like Lewis is usually the kind of guy to take the high road after the race, which he did a little bit in the race debrief that they always do. I was looking at the news today, and he was ripping the strategy this week.
I don't blame him. I would do the same thing. Like again, like you as a team are not doing well enough for to be making these really iffy like political decisions based off of your drivers. And it's like once you're competing in maybe the top five, like they're both in the top five, I feel like it may be worth like then maybe considering being political, like how maybe McLaren, but at the same time, like I mean, we're seventh and eighth place. Like, are they even? I guess they're
Not really.
sitting fourth right now. I
Which
don't
is
know.
a whole nother conversation we'll have because they're currently closer and competing more with Williams than they are with the top teams. Granted, Williams has
Dude,
looked fantastic. Williams has looked great,
I love
which
it. I
we
love
did
that
predict at
they're
the beginning of the
back.
season, by the way. Both of us
I
said that.
know they're back. They're so back. I think
Um,
signs at the beginning was a little questionable, but we're back. That
so I
was
say we
great.
get into that right now because we have another big piece of news that we need to talk about. But while we're still on the topic of Williams, why don't we talk about this first? Um, because Alex Albon got a top five, with Sainz getting ninth, but the three cars that were between him and Albon were both Ferraris and Kimi Antonelli, who qualified second. So
Literally.
Williams they look great.
Williams is back.
James Vowles, like, hats off, right? Like,
I mean,
so
it's
many guys in
fantastic.
front of him before him have tried to do what he's doing now and bringing him back to glory, and he's actually doing it. It's pretty cool.
I love it. I mean, I don't know if you would consider it an underdog story, but I'm going to consider it an underdog
You
story.
absolutely have to,
Yeah,
right?
because it's fantastic seeing this because it's like I feel like what was it 1994 I think was what I saw was like when Williams was like I mean it was like way back in the day when Williams was a powerhouse and now it's like
Yeah. So, but you also look at the
I
teams
love
ahead of him,
it.
right? Like all the teams ahead of him are billion-dollar corporations. Like you have McLaren, you have Red Bull, you have Mercedes, and you have Ferrari. Those
Yep.
are all gigantic car brands and Red Bull, who does everything, right? Like
Worse.
which they're probably ahead of Yuki in the points. I think they are. Um, I'm gonna check that, but I'm almost positive they are, which means they're even out qualifying one of them or out scoring one of them, which I think they have probably the best driver pairing on the grid that not named McLaren, and it's pretty cool to see because Sainz is
I
underperforming.
would say yeah. I would say like if you're looking at it genuinely I would say Williams, Mercedes, and McLaren probably have the top three best driver pairings at the moment. Like I
Well,
can't comment on Ferrari
yeah,
yet.
that's what I was gonna say too, because they obviously have one of the best driver pairings. They just have
I
an
just don't,
awful strategy, so you can't talk about it.
yeah.
Like it's wild, right? So I hope they keep this up. There wasn't really much to talk about, but more so just like get excited that Williams is back because it's cool. I don't think it's gonna come this year, but I could see it next year if they're on the regulations correctly. Some
Right?
podiums in the future.
That would be insane. I'm sorry, but the day I see a Williams podium is
I'll
gonna
be
be
so
crazy.
happy.
That's gonna be
The first years that we were watching, that was like the George Russell dead last on a Williams car years, and now we're talking about
yes.
we're saying Alex Albon has a legit chance of getting podiums now. Like
I mean
some
that's
stuff would have to happen, but like he can outperform a Ferrari on any day. He can outperform Kimi on any day because Kimi's still young. George is obviously a little bit better than everyone, as we should talk about, but we're not going to. He's been Mr.
yeah.
Consistency. Um, one crash happens and the Williams is in podium positions every time. Like Because even
It's
if Albon's on fifth, Sainz is up there. Like it's pretty cool.
so
So
it's always somebody. It's literally it's one of the two. I wish it was both, but it's always one of the two, and I'm not
I,
mad
I
about
I
it.
think we're gonna get to it being both eventually. So we also saw with McLaren last year. No one thought that they would be like the. I mean, people always saw it coming because they were improving and improving. But just 2 years ago, like if you remember Oscar's first race, Lando got dead last and Oscar got 19th.
Dude, literally, it was
Can
horrible.
flip a switch
Like,
so fast.
I agree. I can agree. I can see Williams in the next year or two.
That would be my
Why
like.
not?
I'm never gonna not root for McLaren, but if there's a team I'm gonna root for besides McLaren, it's Williams.
Williams. I said the same. I literally said the same
Until
thing.
Cadillac shows up because I gotta root for my American team. Because
Well,
Haas isn't
we'll
really providing for America right now.
I don't know. I love my little Esty bestie.
Bestie, bestie,
You
yeah,
know we
yeah.
love my Esty bestie.
Who was not in the points this week, but we're not gonna talk about
You know
that.
what? I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because we love my Esty bestie.
Was he in the points? He wasn't in the points in the sprint, right? No, he was not.
No, I think he missed
I think
it.
he got screwed by the safety car, actually, but whatever. Um, all right. To the big news of the day, because that is,
Recent
oh, it came
news,
out today. So
like 5 hours ago.
we don't have an official announcement on the drivers at the time of recording this.
Nope.
I'm almost guaranteeing that we probably will have some news by the time we post this, just because it kind of feels like this stuff moves pretty quickly here.
Of the freaking devil.
Are you serious? They just announced it? Are you serious?
An hour ago.
Really? Wow. That's actually
Yeah.
wild because
Alpine
live
posted
news
it
while we're
on
here, that's insane.
Alpine posted it on Threads an hour ago.
Oh no, that I knew. Wait, about doing?
No. Not
Okay,
the
okay, okay.
second part. But I mean, like
Okay, okay, okay.
Alpine basically posted.
Yes, that I did see. Okay, I thought we got some doing news while we were recording this. I was like, no way, that would be crazy.
No.
That would have been the ultimate podcast content.
No, that's too much turmoil for one team in a day. They
Yes.
cannot do that. I'm sorry.
But in case you guys haven't realized what we're talking about yet, Alpine is in
Shambles.
turmoil, shambles, whatever word you could think of, they're in it right now.
I have never seen anything like this personally.
Well, I absolutely have seen them like this.
No,
Like
not
two
just
years
like,
ago, like
oh,
Otmar resigns after Oscar spurns them, which was just as bad. No one really made a big deal about. I mean, they did, but like not nearly as big as it probably should have been. And now we're
mhm.
here. Oliver Oaks resigns today amid the speculation that it may have been leaked that Franco Colapinto is replacing Jack Doohan at Imola.
Oh,
So
yup. I
it's
want to know why Mr. Oliver got
I, like there's a lot of things that can go into that just because like the fact that this Colapinto rumor is so prevalent right now, it almost makes me think that he resigned because this got out.
yeah, but I don't understand, but I feel like there was talks about this like weeks ago
I
about
know,
like
but then they shut it down. They shut those rumors down and now it's back again because someone has leaked something.
I well, it was like an audio. Somebody leaked an audio.
That
It was
yeah,
like
they
I
did.
heard like somebody's mic was on and they leaked, I don't know, something got leaked about Doohan being replaced, but like I feel like it's not as big as news as like they're making it out to be because it's like everybody kind of knew it was gonna happen. I mean, even if it doesn't happen, it's like whatever, but it's like I feel like with him literally DNFing.
But that wasn't on him. I mean, maybe it was, but it seemed like a pretty standard incident.
I
Like
mean, it was. No, I agree. I don't think we should kick the kid out by any means, but like I don't think there's any reason for like
booting him off.
principal to leave, bro. Like
I did see something that if he does get replaced by Franco, that they would keep him as a reserve driver,
that
which
doesn't make
I
sense.
almost wouldn't want to have that if I'm Jack Doohan. Like,
Like
I'd
that's
want
just
to
like
go
a
do something else
bad,
with either a different
yeah,
team or
that's
something
like
else, just
bad
because like
juju. I don't
you
know.
had like I had the like a Sam Jack Doohan, right? I had the chance with Alpine. They clearly don't think I'm good enough. Why would I stay here? Which we saw with like Mick Schumacher before, right?
No, I agree.
Like,
And now look where he's at. Like I agree.
and apparently he's being, which I saw, don't know if it's true, he's apparently holding meetings with Cadillac.
That would
So
be awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I would love him back.
I
I
would
would,
like him back, but I don't really know. He hasn't really shown anything.
yeah.
In F2 he did. In F1 he didn't, but
I was gonna say he wasn't bad.
he just crashed the car a lot. He was lucky that Mazepin was on his team at the same time, so it kind of took away from the bad that he
He,
did.
he,
But
he in my eyes is like Ocon. He's like another Ocon part two.
that's yeah, the big name coming up and never really lived up to the expectation. But
Yeah.
um the real question is where does Alpine go from here? Because we obviously have
Oh,
Flavio that has taken the team back in the last year, and we've seen what he's done in the past. He's not shy to make a big move. So I'm very curious of what he's plotting here because it seems like there's
I,
something
I
going on.
I have no idea because I'm looking at the team standings right now, and Alpine is in ninth with 7 points. They have 1 point up on kick.
Which is also mind-blowing to me because Gasly hasn't looked all that bad. Like the last
But
couple of weekends he struggled, but he hasn't looked awful.
he hasn't looked bad enough for the team to be doing that bad. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
So
Because it's like
maybe it is time to replace Doing. I don't want to admit it, but like you've seen Franco has put Williams, the bad Williams car last year in the points, so it
yeah,
it's interesting for sure. But
I don't know. I it's oof.
I don't even know where they go, like at all. Like
I don't either, and
replace
that's what I'm
you
trying
know
to
what
like.
I want, and I have no basis for saying this at all. Bring me some Gunther Steiner at Alpine.
That would be insane. He is one of my favorite people ever within the Formula One universe. He is so funny. Isn't he having like this is so off track. Isn't he having like a talk show or something in
Yeah, no, he
Chicago?
has a competing podcast to us,
Are you
so
gonna go? Are you gonna go to that? I know
oh, he's
you.
got a show. I didn't know about that. If he's got one in New York somewhere, I'm
Dude,
absolutely
Peter
going.
sent it. Peter sent it.
Okay, give me a minute. Let me.
Peter
Okay.
sent it.
He sent it in the group chat that is called Ocon WDC 2025, by the way. So, he did send this November 15th in Chicago. When is the Vegas race? Because if it's that
Like
weekend,
that weekend.
yeah.
I
So,
mean,
um, the Vegas race is,
it might be the later.
I think it's the weekend after.
I was gonna say it might be a little later. I think it's right.
November 22nd. This is the
I was
weekend
gonna say it's
after.
like right before Thanksgiving.
So, the weekend of that is actually. The the Brazilian Grand Prix is November 9th. Then we have an off week, which would be the week that Gunther's in Chicago, and then Vegas. This could work out very well. This is all I'm saying. Maybe we got a couple hundred subscribers by then, and we interview Gunther as some content.
That would be crazy.
Um,
Oh my
put it in the
God.
notes for later. But
Oh,
I'm very curious. Do I expect Gunther to be an Alpine? No. Is it going to be fun to think about?
that
Yes.
would be so fun. I'm sorry, but that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it would be
The
a.
Netflix documentary would go off. I
Oh
think it
no, it
would
would be
be
great.
season yet.
I would be the biggest Alpine fan so fast. It would be
Right?
nuts. So pray for it.
Oh
But
my God. That would be fantastic.
we've now covered everything that we wanted to talk about, except for one big piece of info that we didn't talk about last week because we had an off week. Fantasy, we have some
Yeah.
movement finally. And I have no cities. I'm going to let you talk about this one this week because I feel like this is something you would want to talk about.
I kind of do. I will let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. All I'm gonna say is I'm very happy.
We have a week
I'm
that Nick didn't win.
so I'm sitting here. Let me pull in my leagues.
Start with legal
Can't
line.
say I'm too happy. Can't say I'm too happy with the family ones, but
We'll
it's
get to that
okay.
later. Talk about the one we're happy with.
But I'm looking at this lovely little League of Landos, and I just so happened to score 250 points. I am currently in second place with 950 points in total.
And you're pulling away
Coming
from
up
me,
hot on Mr. Nick's heels here, who only scored 248 points this week.
which is really funny because on a great week for us, Nick is only 2 points behind you.
Literally, yeah, literally.
I
And then we've got Dylan coming up on third. You're not even that far behind me either.
had a good week. I had 201
You're
points,
good.
which
You
is
got
really
201
good. It's
points.
just you and Nick are so good this week that it doesn't matter. Like I had Lando at 2x, which he won the sprint. That helps. Oscar, of course, is Oscar. The only negative I had was Ollie. Like
Yeah, I
Alpine
had
and
all
Haas were
these
my
too.
teams.
Yeah.
That's not great. But like Alex Albon's been a absolute star for me, so I'm
Dude,
pretty
it's
happy with where I
I
am.
love it. Then we got Peter coming up. Peter's how many did Peter score?
Peter had
117. Not
117.
bad. I think Verstappen kind of killed him on that one, but
I don't know what did he have for Max actually. Max
yeah,
24.
I was
That's
gonna
pretty bad.
say yeah, Alonso kind of killed him a little bit on that one too. And Sainz scoring 0.
Which is crazy because he had a good race. But
He did have
I'll take over the family one because I'm excited to talk about that one.
yeah,
But
and then Zoogs only got 51 points.
it's fine. The family one for last week, you won, of course. You had the 250. My other team that is not in League of Landos put up 239. So I was right on you. Um, Tori had 207. My other team had 201. Eddie had 181. And then my dad, like everyone else, is kind of pretty similar. My dad had 81 with one of his bad teams. So ha ha ha. I hope he's hearing this. Um, but yeah, I'm still in first in the family league. I believe you are in
Here,
third. You are.
I
Tori's
am
in,
in third. I'm in third and yeah.
I'm in first with 1150. Tori's in second with 1027. You're in third with 955. My dad is in fourth with 902. And then Eddie's in fifth with 875, and he missed a week. So he's actually doing really well. Eddie's one of my very
He's doing
close
very
friends.
well, which is kind of crazy. He's doing very, very well.
He is. And then, of course, in the opposite. Oh, I didn't realize this. Our second teams are tied somehow at the exact same amount. We both have 843 with our second teams. So we're in eighth. That's pretty funny. I didn't realize that.
I didn't either.
We don't need to talk about those teams, but we're fine.
No, we don't. We don't talk about those.
Um, I will say we're not going to do the changes to the fantasy now. However, I think I'm going to make some changes next week because
I was just about to say, I don't,
my
maybe we'll see.
Alpine experiment has not worked.
My cost cap went up, so
Yeah, my
I
Alpine experiment has not worked. I think I'm gonna have to take them off my teams, and we're gonna
And I know what happened when didn't you switch out Yuki? Did they ever change that? I
they
forget.
did. They changed it and it didn't help me. So
They
uh
changed it.
yeah, not great. I am gonna just yeah, I'm changing my teams right now actually. So I'm swapping out Alpine for Aston. I don't know if that's a good idea, but Alpine has been so bad that I feel like I have to try it.
Mons has not been pretty hot this year.
Aston has not been good either, but they have somehow have on the season, Al Aston has 56 season points and Alpine only has 15. So it cannot be
True.
that much worse, right? So I'm gonna do that on both of my
You
teams. I'll
say
probably
that
change my
now.
mind next week, but we'll approach that when that happens.
Yeah, you say that now. We'll figure it out. I will see. I might switch next week. I think I'm gonna sit on it, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna probably
But,
switch it next week again, but I might as well just set it up for now and deal with it next week. But I now have zero point 0.1 million in both of my teams, except now one of them's not changing, so I don't know why it's not. I'll have to deal with that next week.
love it.
But I think that's all we have today. We had I want to say a short episode, but I said that last week and it was the exact same time as normal. So
Do we want to go over the predictions or no? The predict. I didn't do so hot on it. I don't know if you checked that out.
we can do it. We're not gonna do our new ones, but we can do them right now.
I think no, no, no. I think we should go over it, I guess. I don't know. I didn't do so hot. But given I'm also
There's not much to go over because none of us really did anything. Like I got one right, but
I was gonna say I
didn't
think I
really
only
make a
got one.
difference. Um, yeah, we'll do it quick. For the predictions, we know how it works now. We do the top five, pick one random, five, four, three, two, one, and 10 for the bonus. You guys know it by now. But Sydney did not do so hot, as we mentioned. However, I did score a point, but Sydney had Lando, George, Oscar, Charles, Max, with her bonus being 14th place. She came oh so close to it.
I'm
She had
so
Alonso getting 14th. Alonso got 15th.
off. I literally, ah, it's
Who ended
fine.
up getting 14th? I think Nico got 14th, who I said was going to get
I think it
16th.
was,
So
yeah.
works out a little bit. For me, I said Max, Lando, Charles, Oscar, Lewis, with my bonus being 16th for Nico. Nico got 14th, so me and Sydney switch, and that would have worked. But the only one I got right was Lando getting second. Did not happen in the order I thought it was going to happen, but Lando did get second. So I got another 4 points, bringing my total. What do I have now? Let me check.
What was that? 17 plus 4,
Was that what it was? I thought I wrote it down. I don't know where it is. It was
7.
17 to 5. It is now 21 to 5. Gotta lock in, Sid. I feel like we're seeing some themes, such as it's going to be a McLaren winning and George is going to get third. So just start putting it.
That's what I'm thinking, but it's also okay. Which one's gonna get first? Which one?
That's always the fun part to figure out. However, we're not going to do our predictions for Imola yet because we have
No.
a whole week to do it and we might have another driver that we might have to deal with.
No,
So
I'm curious to see if any news is gonna come out in the next week.
I
Oh
feel
my
like
God.
we should do that next week. That if we don't have an announcement, we should do a do-in prediction just specifically for him on where he's going to finish
That's
and see what's
brutal.
going to happen.
That's
Uh,
brutal. We so should.
we're going to. I'm going to write that down. Do-in
That's brutal.
predictions.
It's either gonna be like 12th or DNF. Like there's literally no in
He's going to
between.
get fifth. You heard it here first. But now I think we covered everything. We did everything we wanted to talk about. Fun
I
one.
agree.
Miami was fun. Maybe one of these years we'll
Yeah,
go, but I did see that they're thinking about making it a night race, which would be interesting.
I know. Well, they also extended it to 2041 or something
Yeah,
like
we now
that.
have not this year. We have 15 more chances to go. I think we'll make it to one of them, hopefully. So
Yeah, I think we'll figure it out.
we'll be fine. We'll either do that or we'll go to Montreal or something. We already tried doing that, so
Yes. Yes. We'll figure it out. We'll figure something out. That
you'll
or
see us at
Austin.
a race in the next 15 years.
Yeah, give us 15 years, guys. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we
Horrible.
got it. I think we covered everything.
I think we did too. I think it was a fun episode. Like you
Fun
said, fun.
episode like it always is. Never a dull moment
Love
with
it.
us talking F1. So um
Love it.
we got Imola next week. We have a week off. We're gonna chill this weekend. City's going home actually, so that's cool.
Yeah,
Good for you.
Mother's Day weekend this weekend
Yeah, that's
too.
actually really funny. So before we sign off here, my parents are going to Italy. They're leaving
Oh,
Thursday and they're actually coming back the Sunday of Imola. So they're not there for the race, but they're leaving that day.
I think in my humble opinion they should just extend it for a day.
I told them they should. However, I find it very funny that my mom and my dad are leaving me for Mother's Day.
Good Lord.
It's
I
okay.
love
They're going to
it.
be in a fun place, so it's okay. But maybe we'll give my dad some Imola tickets. We'll see. We'll see what the prices are. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Our predictions for Imola. Rest
Yes.
up this week. It's going to be a fun one next week, and we'll see you guys later.
See you next week.
See you later.